Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ryan with Sports Stuff Hub, and today's vlog we're going to talk about who in 2021 is going to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns. Now, yesterday I put out a tweet asking this question because I wanted to see what the general consensus answer was going to be. And I pretty much already knew where people were going to lean. The popular answer is Patrick Mahomes. And the first person that answered Mahomes gave some input behind it that kind of spurred the way this conversation is actually going to go. And the way he answered it said, if you bet Mahomes every season for the next 15 years, you'll be right more often than wrong. And that's just not true. And I want to break this down a little bit. Yeah, sexy answer is Mahomes. Popular answer is Mahomes. Mahomes in 2018 threw 50 touchdowns, led the league, and won an MVP. So why are the odds against Mahomes in 21? Well, it's pretty simple. Mahomes is entering his fourth year as a starter. He was drafted in 2017 but wasn't declared the starter in 2017. He only played in one game, and that was week 17 when they sat Alex Smith. His first official year starting was 2018, his MVP season. Well, since then, Mahomes ranked 11th in 2019 and then 4th in 2020. Now, this is in touchdown passes, remind you. So, why are the odds stacked against Mahomes? Well, number one, if you had bet on Mahomes to win every season starting his rookie year, you'd only be 1 for 3 currently. Let's break down some other stats around the league. What if I told you that the record for a quarterback winning the touchdown title in a season is only 4 times? That's the record. I'll also add in the fact that that record is a 6-way tie. Tom Brady did it 4 times: 2002, 2007, 2010, and 2015. The other quarterbacks to accomplish this are Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Steve Young, obviously Mahomes, and then for the 6th person, you have to go all the way back to 1960, Johnny Unitas, who did something that nobody has done since, and that was win that title 4 straight years. 1957 through 1960, Johnny Unitas led the NFL in passing touchdowns. No other quarterback has stretched together 4 years like that. The next closest would be Dan Marino, and he had 3. Also only 3 total, but he was 84, 85, and 86. So when you talk about streaks like this, which I will also add, yes, I'm aware Steve Young also won 3 straight years, 93 or 92, 93, 94. He had a 4 total, but he had his 3-year, and Favre had his 3-year, 95, 96, 97, but none of them accomplished their 4th year in a row. The next actual closest was Drew Brees' stretch from 2008 to 2012. The problem with his stretch is he missed 2010. So he did 8, 9, 11, and 12. Had Drew Brees won it in 2010, he would standalone hold the record, as well as be the only quarterback in NFL history to lead the NFL in touchdowns for 5 straight seasons. So add on to Drew Brees' legacy if he accomplished that. Now, a lot of other quarterbacks have done it twice in their career. Notice in that list of 7 quarterbacks we've talked about so far, the 6 that accomplished it 4 times and Marino that did it 3 times. In that list of 7 quarterbacks, one name left off that a lot of people consider one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history is not on that list. That would be Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has only won the touchdown title 2 times, and that was in 2016, and then this past season in 2020, his MVP season. So to say that Patrick Mahomes is your clear-cut favorite, history tells me otherwise. He's just not. Now, I'm not saying he can't or won't, and I'm not saying that it's not possible, but historical odds are not in his favor. When you have guys like Lamar Jackson in the NFL, Russell Wilson, the one thing that comes into play with all of this is something that quarterbacks have zero control over, and that's injuries. What happens if Mahomes misses a game or 2 this year? He missed 2 games in 19. 3 games, actually, I believe. He's had to come off the field for half games. What happens if that happens this year? What happens if one of his receivers goes down? Now, I will say that he has one of the most consistent position groups around him. He's got Kelsey and Reek, who are both, Kelsey's arguably one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Reek is a top 5. Well, he doesn't have Sammy Watkins coming back, but he's got Mecole Hardman. And then he's also got Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back, who by his own right could be a pretty good receiving back. So it's absolutely possible he could, but here comes the other variable that a quarterback has zero control over, and that's his competition. What defenses does he play this year? When you look at 2018, his MVP season of 50 touchdowns, what secondaries did he play against then? How tough were they? How tough are they in comparison to this year? So that's another variable. Well, let's also look at the most important variable, the rest of the NFL, the rest of the quarterbacks in the league. I mentioned it a minute ago, Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson was the touchdown leader in 2017, which also was his MVP season. So you have Lamar Jackson from 19. Russell Wilson was the MVP in 2017. So let's break this down a little bit. Tom Brady is coming back for his 85th season, whatever the case may be. And if you'd have told me in 2002 that Tom Brady was going to win 4 touchdown titles and 7 Super Bowl rings, 6 with the Patriots and 1 with Tampa Bay, I would have laughed you out of the room. And here I am with mud on my face. I would have never expected a quarterback to do what he's done. Now, has he lit up the record books season by season? No. He's consistent, that's for damn sure. Let's look at Tom Brady's history. Since 2010, these are the amount of times he's finished top 10 in touchdowns. All but 3. Out of 11 seasons, all but 3. That was 2013, 2018, and 2019. Every other year since 2010, he's finished top 10, including 2010 where he finished in first, 2015 where he finished in first, and numerous other top 5s. So Tom Brady's already holding historical relevance in the fact that he's a 4-time touchdown champ. He's a 7-time Super Bowl champ. He holds the record for most touchdowns in NFL history. He's going to have numerous other records as well. So maybe before he rides off into the sunset, he breaks that 6-way tie and holds the record for most touchdown leading seasons with 5. That seems more feasible to me than Patrick Mahomes winning his second in just his 4th year starting. But let's look at some other things. Again, we have Patrick Mahomes, but he's got to contend with Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson and Josh Allen, Rodgers still, if Rodgers even comes back this year. We don't know what's going to happen with Rodgers and the Green Bay saga. But here's Rodgers the last 4 years. He only had the one where he finished inside the top 10, and that was this last year. But what about Lamar Jackson? Oh, well, he did finish this past year in 16th. He did get a better weapon in the draft, so we'll see. But he's got a young receiving core. Russell Wilson. You can't argue that one. Since Russell Wilson was drafted in 2012, he's had just 2 seasons where he fell out of the top 10 in passing touchdowns. And the last 4 seasons, so since 2017, first, third, and second. Second was this past year. And he's only getting better with his receivers. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Yeah. Give me those numbers. Josh Allen. Josh Allen finished fifth this last year. Why can't he make a run for it? Him and Diggs are getting real tight up there in Buffalo. Deshaun Watson, his trajectory has been going up. Every single season he's gotten better. He's climbed that list every year, 19th, 12th, 8th, and 7th, respectively. Hey, here's a dark horse candidate, Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan just lost Julio Jones. Yeah, I don't care. Julio missed half of last year anyways, and Matt Ryan finished 13th. But you know what he isn't missing? Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley put up a fantastic season throughout the stretch that Julio Jones was injured. Calvin Ridley could potentially supersede Julio's numbers. Now, that's a tall order, but it's doable. Why can't he? He's got Kyle Pitts coming in. Now, Kyle Pitts is no Julio, but he's a dynamic tight end. And if he can put up 700 plus yards and 6 to 10 touchdowns, why not? He's got other weapons there. It's possible. Matt Ryan's finished in the top 10 6 times, in the last 11 years. So that's doable. Now, he's not in Kyle Shanahan's offense anymore, but he wasn't in 2019 either, where he was 7th. He wasn't in 2018, where he was 4th. Nobody's in a new offense, so it's possible. Some other sleeper candidates we've got. I know I'm going to get some moans and groans out of this one. Carson Wentz, he's got a new home in Indy, and he's got a really good supporting cast now. He's got something he has never had. Paris Campbell comes back at wide receiver. Michael Pittman Jr., T.Y. Hilton, a run game between Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor, and an offensive-minded head coach. 45 touchdowns isn't off the table. Carson Wentz could be there. Carson Wentz has finished in the top 5 twice in his career. Young career. 2016, remember, drafted. What about Dak if we're talking 2016? Dak's coming back from that gruesome injury, but it's stacked. They are stacked in Dallas with offensive talent. Amari Cooper, but now he's paired with CeeDee Lamb. Zeke's looking supposedly better than ever. And the 1-2 punch of him and Pollard looked fantastic last year. But let's go back to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb had a fantastic rookie year, and he had a hodgepodge of quarterbacks throwing to him. He had, 5 quarterbacks throw to him last year? And he still put up a fantastic stat line. So CeeDee Lamb could get Dak back in that hunt. It's to a point now, if Dak comes back and he's actually healthy, the weapons that are around him, if Dak isn't putting up big stats, it's now on Dak. I mean, provided he can stay upright. Got to have the blocking. Here's one that I think a lot of people are overlooking. Jameis Winston. Since Jameis was drafted in 2015, he's been in the top 5 multiple times. Let's not forget his final season in Tampa, where, yes, it was overshadowed by 30 interceptions, but he was number 2 on the board for touchdowns behind Lamar Jackson. Yeah, interceptions can overshadow, but it also means that he's willing to throw the ball. And all the talk about his eye surgery that he had, LASIK, I think, he apparently isn't seeing double and triple anymore. Could Jameis be a comeback player of the year? Could Jameis lead the NFL in touchdowns? How about Matt Stafford? New home, new coach, new weapons. Matthew Stafford is surrounded by the most talent that he's ever had in pro sports. And this is not a jab at Calvin Johnson at all. Calvin Johnson is amazing. But Calvin Johnson was one player. The Rams are deep. I'll take 3 to 4 good, really good wide receivers over one superstar. Especially when the team doesn't know how to use their quarterback. Well, Sean McVay does. He made Jared Goff look good. And Goff, in my opinion, is the new day Andy Dalton. The Andy Dalton line of mediocrity, as I used to call it. And Andy Dalton was a solid starting quarterback, but he wasn't going to win you championships. He wasn't going to win you a plethora of games. He's going to win you enough to drag out your tenure as a head coach and eventually get you fired. Because he's not winning big games. That's Jared Goff to me. Just above average talent, but average stats, average production, average results. The Andy Dalton line. So Stafford with the Rams. And we're going to see a whole new competitive Rams team. Another big one that I think quite a few people are looking beyond. A quarterback who just got a massive weapon in Julio Jones, Ryan Tannehill. Oh, Ryan. Ryan Tannehill isn't that good. Tannehill isn't going to light the world on fire. Tennessee runs the ball more than any other team in the NFL. 60 to 65%. Blah, blah, blah. Number one, the offensive coordinator from Tennessee is now in Atlanta. Number two, when you have Julio Jones, you're going to throw the ball. Julio paired with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's most productive time last year was when Corey Davis was on the field. Now, Corey Davis is no Julio, but Corey Davis is talented enough that he could take pressure off of A.J. Brown. When Corey Davis was hurt or off the field, A.J. Brown struggled because he's not a dynamic take over a game when he's by himself. He's really good. But when he's doubled or zone and one, where he's being essentially doubled or even tripled, he struggles. Like I said, he's not a Julio that can take over in those moments. But with somebody like Julio on the field, A.J. Brown's capable of dominating. When it is man, when he doesn't have over-the-top help. But it's Ryan Tannehill. Well, Ryan Tannehill has started 26 games for Tennessee. In those 26 games, he's thrown for 55 touchdowns. One fun stat, if we take Patrick Mahomes, everybody's favorite player right now, the dubbed baby goat, and we look at Patrick Mahomes' last 26 starts, he's thrown 54 touchdowns. 54 touchdowns to 55 touchdowns. Don't tell me Ryan Tannehill can't lead the NFL. Sure, Patrick Mahomes in that time frame threw almost 600 yards more. Yeah. But if we're talking touchdown leaders, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter one bit. Mahomes has a lot of yards after the catch because he's got a guy like Tyreek that can literally take a 10-yard slant and bust it for 70. What Tannehill has for help is the fact that Derrick Henry can destroy linebackers and defensive linemen for 60 yards, and then Tannehill can throw a 10-yard touchdown pass. So, yeah, he may not put up 5,500 yards or 4,500 yards or even 4,000 yards. But he could easily throw 50 touchdowns. It's doable. Now, again, I'm not picking on Patrick Mahomes. I'm not at all. Not whatsoever. But the odds of NFL history are stacked against him. Sure, he could get his second touchdown title this year. Absolutely. It could happen. But most of the guys got their titles later as they developed deeper into their cognitive side of football. Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady got one early on, and then it was 5 years till he got his next. Peyton Manning, yeah, in 2000, 04, and 06, but then 13 was his last. So what we're seeing now, because of disguising coverages and disguising blitz, you're not going to see as many guys get that early. Yeah, they may get one or two that early in their career. But if you tell me that if you bet on Patrick Mahomes for 15 straight years, that you're going to win more often than lose as far as him leading the league in touchdowns, you're wrong. And I don't mean to pick on the guy that I was talking to about this. It was funny to me that somebody stated that, but I don't expect everybody to be a stat monger like I am. I love stats. I love analytics. This is the type of stuff that I do very well with. So just be very cautious with how you word records like that and who's going to win what. Because the odds aren't in a repeat. They're not. We have a lot of people who've only won 1 year that were favorites over and over again. Phillip Rivers was a gunslinger. Carson Palmer only won 1 year. Culpepper 1 year. Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, Terry Bradshaw, Steve Barkowski. So Andrew Luck only won 1 year, and he was supposed to be, he was Trevor Lawrence before Trevor Lawrence was Trevor Lawrence. And now Trevor Lawrence is the godsend to the NFL. He's the second coming. That's all I hear. This kid, since he was in high school, since he was 15 years old, was dubbed the savior of the NFL. When he was 15. So, let's look at some of the youth coming in. Let's look at some of the guys from this last season even. Herbert, Burrow, Love potentially if Rodgers doesn't play. Jalen Hurts got a toy. Tua, they built around Tua. Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller, Devontae Parker's got friends finally. It's all on Tua now. He's got to succeed. But then in Philly, Jalen Hurts. They, by drafting Devontae Smith, they gave Jalen Hurts more weapons in one first-round pick than they ever gave Carson Wentz. Let that one sink in for a minute. So now let's look at Herbert, who has a pretty good base around him, and they just improved his offensive line to keep him upright more. And as long as Keenan Allen can stay healthy, that's a formidable offense. So Herbert could potentially be up there. Joe Burrow. They didn't draft an offensive lineman for him to begin with, but they went Jamar Chase, who's an electric wide receiver as well. The question is, will Burrow have enough time to throw him the ball? But I made a tweet about this number of weeks ago. I was thinking about this on a drive down to Portland for a card show. Joe Burrow could be the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 50 touchdowns and be sacked 50 times in the same season. Wild. Absolutely wild. It's not unthinkable, honestly, with how he was brutalized last year. And they didn't take Penei Sewell to start off in the draft. Joe Burrow was one of the fastest pressured quarterbacks in the NFL in 2020 before he got hurt. The other top sacked quarterbacks were Carson Wentz and Russell Wilson. And they had a half second longer to throw the ball. A half second. So maybe Burrow gains a quarter of a second or even a half second. And then still gets sacked the amount Russell Wilson gets sacked. That's a big number. A half second means all the difference on that football field. That's a wide receiver being pre-break on his route and post-break on his route. That's a half second, easily. So, Burrow potentially could be on this list in the top 5. Well, now we've got Trevor Lawrence coming in, as we were just talking about a minute ago, the savior of the NFL. What if he comes in and lights the league on fire? Zach Wilson, I don't see it happening. I just don't see enough pieces in New York. And they're a defensive-minded team with a head coach that was the D coordinator in San Francisco last year. What about Trey Lance? North Dakota State kid. Not to be a homer, but he's got a great team around him. They're built to win. They just had some injuries last year. What if Trey Lance comes in and starts day one? I've been watching this kid's film in training camp now during the summer, late spring, summer. And I've been watching him since his first pass thrown at North Dakota State because I'm a Bison. And this kid I saw from day one was special. Yes, I have receipts. I called it from day one because he's got it. Now I've been watching him in training camps, throwing passes, and he looks even better. What if he comes in day one, gets guys like Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and they've got a good run game? What if he comes in and lights the league on fire? That's possible. I don't see Justin Fields doing it, not with the Chicago offense. They don't have the weapons. Mac Jones, no. Again, no weapons. And it's unlikely he even starts. Cam Newton's going to probably start for the first 4 weeks. So now you've got a new batch of quarterbacks coming in. Again, more stuff that the other quarterbacks in the NFL have no control over. How the other quarterbacks play. Now, a Patrick Mahomes, a Tom Brady, an Aaron Rodgers, a Russell Wilson, a Lamar Jackson, one control effect that they do have with their opponents is reading defenses and adjusting and catching blitzes and seeing what's happening ahead of time before it happens and making the right adjustments and making the right throws. They could play a stout defense, but still tear it up. It's possible. So again, something that Russell Wilson has no control over is how Patrick Mahomes plays, how Lamar Jackson plays, how Aaron Rodgers plays. So who's going to lead the NFL this year? Do I make my pick here on my vlog? Should I? Because based on what I see, I'm not taking Rodgers. As good as he is, I struggle with whether or not he's going to play this year or if he's going to play with the Packers. Now, if he does end up with Denver, yeah, they got some weapons. I think he could do very well there. But if I'm betting on anything, I will take a Russell Wilson, a Josh Allen, Tannehill, Stafford, That would probably be my mix of the four that I think are potentially the best shots to win. Now, I'm not saying that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'll make a pick right here then. Give me Tannehill. That'll be my pick this year. That's who I think's going to throw the most touchdown passes this year. Tannehill. I'll take that pick. So you heard it right here. Ryan Tannehill is going to throw the most touchdowns in 2021. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be the MVP. That doesn't mean he's going to throw the most yards. That doesn't mean he's going to throw the least amount of interceptions or that he won't throw 10 interceptions. That also doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not picking Tennessee for the Super Bowl. At least not today. I'm not taking Tennessee to win that many games. I think they'll be good, but I will take Tannehill leading the league in touchdown passes this season. Hot take? Meh. Call it what you want. That's my guess. Educated guess, based on numbers, based on where I've seen him go. He threw 33 last season, and now he's getting an upgrade of Corey Davis. Corey Davis to Julio Jones. New offensive coordinator that's not going to run the ball 65% of the time. And he still threw 33 touchdowns last year without Julio and running the ball 65% of the time. Yeah, trend, Tannehill. I'll take that. That's my prediction. Let's go with it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, Sports Stuff Hub. Check out the website, sportsstuffhub.com. Look right there as well. Sorry, right here. Twitter. I'm on Twitter. That's the most active thing I'm on for social media. I'm on Twitter at Sports Stuff Hub. You can also follow me on Instagram. Same thing. Facebook. Same thing. If you Google Sports Stuff Hub, I'm all over the place. YouTube, Facebook, Insta, Twitter. I have a website, sportsstuffhub.com. If you love collecting sports cards, check out my website, sportsstuffhub.com. We sell singles on there. We sell boxes. We do group breaks. We're into Funko Pops. Massive into Funko Pops. We've got anywhere from 500 to 1,000 listed in stock at any given day. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's what I do. I'm surrounded by sports and collectibles all day. I'm a big kid. It's what I love doing. Why not? Do what makes you happy. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, check it out. Follow me, subscribe. You're going to see some more vlogs like this every week. Check out the show every Tuesday, Sports Stuff Hub Live. I have guests on. We do interviews. It's fun. It's a blend of sports chat with hobby chat. So we take sports and sports cards because it's literally like that. So we do box rips on there. We give stuff away on Sports Stuff Hub Live on Tuesdays. Check it out on the same channel here. We also got break night. We do group breaks on Wednesdays. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. We've got it listed on the website, sportsstuffhub.com. Go to the breaks tab. Active breaks are listed on there. Jump in. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time. So I will see you all next time.